Welcome to Next Play. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Next Play. Super pumped. We got NBA LA Laker Max Christie. For you guys that don't know, I had to play him and his brother for 3 years. I think we played them 6 times and lost all 6, so that was annoying.
Yeah, welcome, Max. Thanks for coming.
Thank you guys for having me. Appreciate it.
So I always start, every athlete hates this, but I want to run through some of your incredible stats over the years. And like Owen said, you're a hometown hero here. So
I appreciate that.
You really are. It's so fun to say that and know that I was able to watch you all those years. Okay. So as a senior in high school, you averaged 24 points, 10 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 steals, and 2 blocks per game, leading your team to a 15-0 record. And that was during COVID we were talking about, right, Max?
Yeah, senior year was COVID, so we didn't have any playoffs. We only played 15 games, and we won every one. So
it's incredible. And that led to all sorts of incredible accomplishments. You were 2021 News Gazette All-State Player of the Year, Chicago Sun-Times Player of the Year, Illinois Gatorade Player of the Year, and McDonald's All-American. You're also the all-time leading scorer at Rolling Meadows High, and you had the history of over 2,000 points. No one's beat that, right? School history?
Yeah, I was the only one that had 2,100, I think. So I think I'm the only one that's ever passed 2,000. I think Cam was close. He was at
I was going to say, Cam had to be getting close there.
Yeah, Cam's second. He was at 19 something, and he always says that it sucks because he was playing with me for the first 2 years. So I was kind of shooting every time.
Taking all yeah.
Okay. Big Ten all-freshman team in 2022 at Michigan State. You started all 35 games that you played there, averaging 9 points, 3.5 rebounds, 1.5 assists per game. And then very shortly after, drafted to the Lakers in 2022 as the 35th pick overall. And you just signed, so huge congratulations, with the Lakers on a 4-year contract in July. So that's huge.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah. So most of what we talk about with athletes here is on the mindset stuff. And I'm curious when, you realized the mental side of the game was something that, you needed to focus on and was important to you. At what age?
I would honestly, my freshman year in college, I think in high school for me, it was kind of, I wouldn't say it was easy, but I was, kind of the guy on the team. I could kind of just do whatever I want really. And so it was relatively, not a lot of stress playing in high school. There wasn't a lot going on really. I'm playing with a bunch of my friends, so it was like a fun time. And then I get to Michigan State, and kind of like the level is amped up. We're on a national stage now, and one of the best programs in the country playing in the Big Ten. And I think my freshman year was kind of a struggle for me overall, just throughout the year. I didn't think I played as well as I could have, and I think a huge part of that was just because mentally I wasn't there. I don't think I did a good job taking care of the mental side of the game for me. I didn't have a lot of balance in my life. All I was doing was playing basketball. I didn't have a lot of stuff going on off the court. I thought that was the right thing to do, and then that kind of mentally screwed me over. And so that's when I really learned after my freshman year, and then even a little bit my rookie year 2 years ago, that I needed to really like delve in and work on the mental side of my game. And really, like you said, just work on the mind. It's a huge part for me. I think I'm skilled enough. I put in enough work throughout my whole life. I think I'm good enough to play at the level I'm at. And mentally, if I'm in the right headspace, if I'm in a good spot, then I think I can be really good. So I'd say after my freshman year in college is when I really started to like hone in on it.
Yeah, I can see that. What's interesting to me, I would have guessed earlier, but I hear what you're only because your mom, who I know is
yeah.
And so it's in the family, right? The idea of like mental well-being and staying healthy in that way, right? But I hear you're saying you didn't face the adversity, right? So for you, yeah, that makes sense. That until you're sort of challenged and you're suffering in some way, right? It's like, wasn't that bad?
No, 100%. I had some adversity in high school, but it wasn't anything like that I thought was anything super substantial. College, definitely, I hit a rock hard wall for sure, with a bunch of adversity. And it's the first time I ever really experienced something like that on that level and on that stage nationally. So that's when it kind of like woke me up. Like I need to kind of start honing in on this side. So yeah, definitely college was the first experience for me.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, I was going to kind of ask a little bit off that. So, how has it changed from like, was that something that you guys talked about? I know you played on the Wolves. I'm assuming you didn't, like you mentioned, you didn't really focus too much about that in high school, but now at the NBA level, is that something
Yeah.
that's talked about a lot?
Yeah.
And kind of who's been someone that's been influential for you? Are there any of your teammates, any
Mhm.
coaches in specific that's helped you kind of like, have that craft, the mental side of the game for you?
Right. Well, the NBA is definitely it's the biggest stage of basketball you could play on, and so there's a lot of stuff that comes with that. You're playing in front of 20,000, 25,000 fans every game. For me, playing on the Lakers, playing with LeBron, playing with Anthony Davis, like the magnifying, the glass, the scope on everything that we do is, it's that much bigger, and so I think the mental side of the game is that much more important in my situation. My mom is a huge part of that for me. She's basically like a mental therapist. That's what she does. I have my own mental therapist on the side as well, but she's been huge with me on that my whole entire life in high school. I didn't really listen to it that much. I didn't think I needed it.
Yeah.
College came around, I definitely needed it, and then now I definitely need it even more. So she's been huge for me, and it's super important. Being in the NBA, there's so many distractions. There's so much going on. And being at a young age that I'm at with everything that I've, worked hard for and that I have, it's just super easy to lose track of and lose sight of so many things. And so working on, your gratitude and being present and all sorts of stuff it's super, super important. And I've worked on it for the past 2 or 3 years, and I've seen huge strides
Absolutely.
in that department. So I'm
Yeah.
super grateful for that. And it's helped me out a ton. And I'm looking forward to continuing to work on that and try to stress the importance of, mental health and mental well-being and mentally playing the game of basketball, playing sport, being a CEO, being an author, whatever. So
Yeah,
it's important.
absolutely. Switching over more like the mental state, like within the game.
Mhm.
And like you mentioned, you were the guy in high school all 4 years. You had a good career or a good year at Michigan State, and now being in the NBA and some games not playing at all, some games coming in for 5 minutes and being expected to produce and come in and knock in shots. How is that? How do you stay locked in for that? And how is that switched? And how, do you get your mind right before games where you're like, okay, I don't know if I'm gonna go play
Yeah.
20 minutes or if I'm going to play 5 minutes.
Mhm.
Yeah. So how's that been in that struggle?
Yeah. I mean, I would say my first 2 years that's basically what it's been like. And it's probably the hardest thing I've ever done. Basketball wise, you could argue in life too. I mean, it's super tough. Again, I think, being on the Lakers as well, being on a team with any team with LeBron James on it, everything is
Yeah.
being watched. Everything is being, magnified. And so, my rookie year, I didn't play that much. And then all of a sudden, like you said, you're getting thrown into games. And last year was the same thing. I might not play the whole first half. And then I go in the third quarter start. And, you have to you get 2 shots a game, maybe 3 shots a game. You better make 2 out of 3, 3 out of
Yeah.
3, if you want to keep playing. So it was super tough. And what I did was I stopped focusing on the outcome. And it's a big mantra that I've said for the past 2 years. If you look at any interview that I've said, and I've said this so many times, I'm huge on process over outcome and control what I can control.
Love it.
So I just turned to the fact I can't control how many minutes I play. I can't control how many shots I get. I can't control so many things. But if I can go out there and play hard, if I can go out there and, defend as hard as I can, rebound as hard as I can, and, that's all I can control. And eventually it started to click for me because I put in so much work. Everything kind of just started unfolding when I started to focus on what was in my control. And now, when I get in the game, I'm feeling a lot more comfortable. I'm a lot more comfortable getting that corner 3 when I've sat for the whole first half and I'm freezing cold and I'm in the game against, I don't know, the Phoenix Suns, and I'm in the right corner and Kevin Durant's closing out to me on a pass from LeBron and I need to make the 3. Like, I'm a lot more comfortable doing that than what I was to start, just because all I wanted to do was play well so I can play more. And I want to make this shot. I want to make this pass. I want to do this and that. But eventually I kind of just let go of all that and just try to be present, play as hard as I can, and whatever happens. And that's kind of what worked out. And it's worked for the past 2 years. And hopefully this year will be a little bit different. I think coming into training camp on Tuesday, trying to, solidify myself a little bit more. So
I love
I'm
that.
looking forward to that. Yeah.
So what I'm hearing too is like just the reframe for you built confidence. And
Mm-hmm.
I love, we always say control what you can control. As far as other mindset, because people are going to be like, what does he do? Because you're so incredible. All the athletes are going to be listening to you, all the basketball players. Was there visualization or other specific, mindset techniques that you also do outside of the way you talk to yourself and the mantra?
Yeah, imagery and visualization is 100% a big part of any pregame routine that I'm doing. It's in there for sure. That's something I've worked on with both my mom and my own mental therapist is trying to create positive atmospheres in my head and trying to visualize, like you said, those things happening. And it's honestly phenomenal how there are games where I have not done it, and there are games when I have done it, and the difference is it's unbelievable.
Is it? Unbelievable.
It is. It's ridiculous how it works. It seriously is. And it's been my rookie year to start, I didn't really do it, and then towards the end, and then a lot last year, I just started implementing it in there. And it's not going to work 24/7, but it definitely works more times than it doesn't. So positive self-talk's huge. And I think for me, I'm big on. I think a lot of guys like to get hyped up and listen to hard music and all this sort of stuff before games. I'm the exact opposite.
Are you?
Yeah, I like, on a scale of 1 to 10 in terms of energy, I like to be like at a three or four, before every game. I like to be calm, relaxed, and that's reflected in, I breathe before every game. My eyes are closed and during the anthem. I'm visualizing what's going on around me. I'm trying to take in the scenes, and so, visualization. To get back to your point is huge. Yes.
Yeah, I can attest to that. By the way, he is at a 3 or 4 because we would try to do anything we can to piss him off. We would be like jabbing at him. We'd have our student section going crazy at him, and nothing would faze him. It's the most annoying thing. There's a lot of players that you can get in their head pretty easily, but I think I remember specifically one game. It was at Meadows. I think you had like 3 points at the half, and we go in that locker room and we're like, "Let's go!" Like we're in his head. Like I think we got the win, and then you came out and scored 28 in the second half. It was pretty defeating, but yeah, no, I could attest to the energy levels of Max. He's definitely someone that it's tough to get under your skin for sure.
Yeah, that's something I focused a lot on in high school too. My dad and my mom were huge on that. Obviously, you guys got pretty good student sections, and I was always super good at having poise. I never showed any emotion, almost to a fault. Like whenever I have a good play, it's never like, usually when you get a dunk or you make a big basket, you're kind of emotional. I was like just straight poker face the whole time.
You were.
I never showed any emotion, which is something that's a goal I've made this year. Is I want to do a little bit of a better job, kind of like feeling into the game a little bit, and that's not like talking trash or whatnot, but. When you make a good play, kind of like feed into that a little bit, so.
Using the energy, right? Yeah, you don't need to express it. That was, the tool at that age, you're a teenager. So I can understand like the blocking it out. It presented in a way of this ease about you. But that wasn't all that was happening internally. So that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely not. Internally, there's a lot going on, but you can't show that to my opponents. So like you said. You guys thought that you didn't get in my head. You were there a few times, but I didn't really know.
Oh, wait, what music are you listening to? I love knowing pregame. Like, what's your music?
I would say, well, first off, I'm a big believer in the Calm app, if you know what that is.
Yeah, of course.
Like a meditation app. And they have like, it's not really music, but they have like these very like kind of calming kind of beats going on. I don't even know how to explain it. My mom says something, it's called binaural beats or something like that. It's like a frequency that helps me with relaxing. But that's one of them. And then actual artists and music, like I'm big on like Drake and J. Cole and like hip hop, R&B, very, slow kind of thing. I'm not listening to big like heavy hitters that are like with loud basses and loud drums and not a lot of that stuff. Usually I'm pretty chill.
How is it like, you're around a bunch of 30-year-olds, 40-year-olds, people with families, you're a young guy, like again, in high school, you're still playing ball, but you got your friends on the side, you're playing with kids the same age. And I know college is a little different, but it's the same thing. Like you got kids around you on a college campus. How is it now? Like again, like you're with some people that have just families or grown men.
I think, and I talked about this too, when I was in college, I didn't have a great balance of basketball and then off the court, and I think that really shot me in the foot because all I thought I was doing, the only reason I thought I was at Michigan State was to play basketball and just go to school, hoop, and then go to the NBA after however many years. But I wasn't there to actually enjoy like college, hang out with friends, maybe go out on a Friday or Saturday, maybe, yada, yada, yada. Instead, it was just work out, go to bed, wake up, work out, go to bed, wake up. And that continuous cycle is hard for anybody to manage. And so that's what I've learned as I've turned to a pro now. Like you said, there are guys a lot older. LeBron has his whole family. Anthony Davis has his own family. Everybody's got their own family, but you're still hanging out with guys in the facility. And then two, you make friendships with some of the staff members that work there too. And I'm a big golfer. I've turned into golf a lot for the past like 2 or 3 years.
How's the swing looking?
It's not bad. It's not bad. It's got a lot better.
Not bad. I'm going after this, so hopefully.
Oh, there you go.
Hit them
My
straight.
handicap's gone down to like it started the summer at like 15. Now I'm at like 10, so I've made some good strides.
There we go.
Yeah, so I've developed big hobbies outside of basketball to kind of balance the strenuous life of playing NBA along with also being like a 20-year-old kid and being around. So I'm a big video gamer. I like golf, so. I have hobbies outside of basketball that keep me kind of fill my cup up. That's what I call it. They fill my cup up. They kind of recharge my energy, recharge my battery. So
is Cam in LA too now, right?
Yeah, I literally just came. He's literally right down the hallway. Like I can walk there in 30 seconds.
Oh, do you guys live together?
Hi.
We don't live together, but he lives in this is my own building, like apartment, and he's got his own like 30 seconds away. Like I literally came to my place from his like right before this. It was pretty easy.
That's awesome.
Right to have that support around you.
Yeah, it's huge. It's helped a lot more than I thought it was going to. So it's good.
How did you know it wasn't working for you? Like, how did that show up? Right? Were you did you become unmotivated? Did you not like the game as much? Were you sad? Like, how did that impact you? That
Yeah, I think
gonna work.
In college, I definitely think I lost my love for the game, and I didn't look forward to like going to practice. I mean, there are certain times you don't want to go practice. That's fine. But there's I just literally didn't want to I didn't even want to go. And at that point I was like, this isn't right. Like something isn't going right here. And I came home after that year and my mom, kind of really my whole family, my mom, dad, and my brother, they looked at me and they could see that I was just all messed up. And so huge credit to them. Thank you, to them for that. They helped me kind of regain everything and kind of, rebuild myself back up. But yeah, it was really every time I hit adversity, I felt like it was the end of the world. I just wasn't enjoying myself. I didn't enjoy college at all. There was just certain things that wasn't, going right. And that's how I kind of knew. And again, my college experience, in my opinion, wasn't awesome. I wouldn't say I had the best time. However, I wouldn't trade it for anything because it's quite literally, quite literally. I mean, I'm literally a whole black and white. It's completely different, and I wouldn't be here without that experience. That 8 months to a year that I was there. I mean, it was rough at times, but it's hard.
When you're in it, it feels like this is hell, get me out, right? But then when you're able to have a story, and it's really cool of you to share that because I'm sure people don't, when they look at you and they think, oh man, look at this guy, he's got everything, And I think people know that about you always, that you were so naturally gifted and you have this great family. And so, it's not talked about. It's getting better, I think. People talking about, listen, it doesn't always look like that, You're having experiences, right? So it's cool that you're sharing that it wasn't always great and that you had to work to get out of it.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was tough at times. So, but definitely there were parts that I enjoyed for sure. I mean, I enjoyed college for certain parts. There were definitely a lot more tough parts, though, in my opinion. So.
Yeah, I don't think you're alone in that. My brother played 4 years at Wisconsin, and he said he almost quit his freshman year. And he told us that on the podcast. We were like, "What? I didn't even know that." He's like, "Yeah," and he started as a freshman, and just said it was hard. It was a lot.
Yeah, it's tough. It's a big adjustment for sure that I didn't adjust very well. So.
Well, yeah, look where you're at now.
I got a personal question I'm just curious about. So what's the day in the life of a game day in the NBA? Because I know in college you still have class, whatever, you fly out, and whatever, you have X amount of time to warm up. How is the game day different? What's the pregame ritual looking like?
Well, first off, the big difference between the NBA and college is in the NBA, it's actually like a job. You're on your own. You come in on your own time. You do whatever you want on your own time. In college, obviously, you got coaches and everybody that kind of lay down a block. You're coming in at this. And you have like a schedule sort of in NBA of when your pregame shooting time is. Like you have that. So for me, I'm waking up. We'll say shoot around games at 7, shoot arounds at 10. Usually, that's about right. Usually, I'll wake up at like 8:30, leave the apartment by 9:15. I'll get to the facility by 9:30. It's not that far. Suit up. I'll get some shots up for 20 minutes. Then we'll have shoot around. We'll go over whatever team are playing, personnel, hot plays, game plan, whatever. So we'll do that. That'll be 10 to 11, 11:30. I like to lift afterwards. I kind of like to feel my body get activated. And I still need to progress in that area. So I'm still working on that. So let's say that's 11 to 11:45 or 12. I'll get home by 12:30. I like to take a nap for like an hour, hour and a half. We'll say I wake up at 2:30. Thing that sucks out here is the traffic downtown is ridiculous. So you got to leave pretty early. So I'll leave my apartment by 2:33. So the game's at 7. I'll leave by 3. I'll get to the arena. I'll get to Staples downtown by 4. We'll say 4:15. And usually I'll reactivate again. So I'm not lifting, but I'm doing, band work and, whatever, just to get my body reactivated because I was just laying down for forever. And so we'll say if I get to the arena at 4, I'll have activation at 4:30, 4:45. And then I'll be on the court. I'm usually on the court about 2 hours before the game starts, so 5 in this case. I'll shoot from 5 to 5:30. And then after that, I'll get on the training table. And that's when training table for me, I kind of coincide that with like my mental preparation. It's kind of like your mind and body working together. So I'm getting, stretched out. I'm doing all sorts of different activation, mobility stuff. That's when I kind of like turn to visualization. I'll turn to conscious breathing. I'll turn to all sorts of stuff just to kind of get ready. And we'll say that goes till 5:30 to 6. And then I like to take a shower before the game. I like to feel nice and clean, and I don't like to feel sweaty getting in my uniform. So I'll take a shower, and we usually have a pregame meeting, 35 minutes on the clock. So that's 6:25 in this case. And then pregame meeting, you're out there. Game starts at 7. You play the game. You go home afterwards and go to bed. And then you wake up the next morning and.
So, do you know, like that day or whatever, you got a game, against Phoenix? Did the coaches tell you like in advance, all right, like, we're going to get you in 5 minutes probably today, or is it just you go and you don't know if you're going to go in at all, or how's that like?
Know. You have no idea. Or the worst is when they'll tell you and then it doesn't happen, which happens. There's stuff that happens during a game that you have to adjust to.
It did happen.
Yeah, there's stuff that happens during a game you have to adjust to, and it's understandable. So, hey, you're going to go in and play, yada, yada, yada. And then all of a sudden, AD has 25 to 30 points in the first half, or he has 15 to 20 points in the first quarter, and say I'm his sub, they're not taking him out.
Yeah.
So you got to adjust to it. I remember my second year, we were playing in Phoenix. I was in the rotation. I was playing a decent amount. I usually went in, I think it was the end of the first, kind of like 3 minutes in the first quarter. After you play for a while, you kind of know what block you're going in. You kind of assume. I usually go in about 3 to 4 minutes in the first quarter. I'll play till like 7 in the second, and then that'll be it. I didn't go in at all the first half. This is kind of, I was talking about this earlier. So, and I had played like 3 or 4 games before this, like in a row. So, I'm kind of in a group. I don't play the whole first half. And this is a big game. We're playing like KD, Devin Booker, Bradley Beal. Like, this is a big game. I don't go in the entire first half, and I'm running out, and the coach comes up to me, he's like, hey, you got to be ready. Like, we're going to go, we're going to put you in this time. And that was like, for me, imagine, like, I hadn't played, and I kind of was just like, at the end of the first half, I'm kind of like, all right, probably not playing today, whatever.
Yeah.
Coach comes up to me and says, you're going to play. And, like, my emotions and, like, everything just kind of, like, spikes, like, instantly. And so I'm, like, kind of nervous. Like, I'm kind of anxious.
Yeah.
And, like, because everybody else that I'm about is warm. They played. They understand the flow of the game. I'm just literally like an ice cube just sitting here. Like, I have not played at all. I do some techniques to kind of calm me down with breathing and, kind of remind myself of kind of like my base principles and whatnot. And then I go in and I play for maybe like 5-6 minutes, and I have the best 5-6 minutes of my career. I hit a 3, an assist to AD. I play great defense. Like, it was awesome.
I mean, that's awesome. That is awesome.
Yeah, that's kind of how it works. It's literally just how it works sometimes. And that was a huge confidence booster for me, knowing that I was capable of doing that. I was capable of not playing the whole first half, being nervous, being anxious, not feeling ready. being able to calm myself down from that and then going out and playing really well for 6 minutes. That's a big confidence booster for me. So
Yeah.
we deal with that all the time, especially as
I gotta ask this too. Did you, if any, you could say there isn't any, but any welcome to the NBA moments, like posterized, any of that?
I've had a couple embarrassing moments for sure. My rookie year, I mean, I've gotten crossed over a lot. I've said this. Chris Paul crossed me over one time my rookie year when he was in Phoenix pretty badly. That was pretty embarrassing. And then the thing is, like, you run back down in front of their bench, and like my back's towards them, I'm in the corner, but they're all like just chirping me
In the air,
yeah. I had a couple last year. I was guarding Shea in the post. He spun baseline, dunked on me. What else last year?
He's giving you a bunch of them.
Yeah, no. I was just if there's any specific welcome to
there's
the
a
NBA
few.
moments,
There's a few like embarrassing moments that I've had. There's a few.
I'm sure there's been some probably practicing with LeBron too. I mean, I can only imagine.
Yeah, I mean, there's been a few. He's pretty unreal in practice. Some of the stuff that he does, and he doesn't do it a lot. He tries just a lot of stuff in practice, and it's crazy. But yeah.
One of the exercises we do with our athletes is this highlight reel, right? Where I'll say, think about your 3 best moments and play those. So for you, if you on the flip side of that question, do you have a moment, with all your success that you go to when you're trying to, you talk about this free flow, I think. Is that what you say?
Like a flow state kind of, free flowing.
Yeah. So there's like a moment where you're like, like I can go back to it. That was a huge highlight for me,
Every game against Prospect.
Yeah, that was
it's free flowing. Yeah. Thanks, man.
Those are some free flowing games for sure. But in the NBA, I think the first thing that comes to mind when it comes to like free flow for me was we played Miami at home. And I had a baseline dunk on Bam Adebayo. He was first team all defense that year. So I mean that's good as it gets. But that game, I remember going into that game, I just said, like, I'm going to be as aggressive as I possibly can be. Because at that time, I was still kind of, like, learning how to, manage myself mentally. And I was kind of, like, tentative because I wasn't playing as much. I wanted to, like, not make a mistake. And that game, I was just like, I'm done, like, being scared. I'm just going to go out and, just play. And I think I had like 15 points that game, and I had this one baseline dunk where I drove baseline, like, and it didn't look open. You got Bam, he's like 6'10", 6'11", he's looking tall. And I just decided to just try it, and it worked, and it dunked on him. And it was just like, that was like a free flow moment where I wasn't really thinking. I kind of was just doing. And it worked out. And I've said this ever since. Whenever I'm in that state where I'm like mentally not thinking about what's going on, the less I think, the better I am on the court. So I think that, so, I tend to be very analytical. I think I have a pretty analytical brain. My mom kind of blessed me with that. I'm very good at remembering plays, remembering, numbers, remembering all sorts of stuff. And sometimes there's paralysis by analysis when you're reading a defense and whatnot. And I just said, I'm just going to do whatever. And it worked out. So
is that how you would define mental toughness, as that ability where you're just playing and you're not, in your head at all? Or how would you define it?
Yeah, I think that's one way to put it. I think another way, I think for me, it's managing emotions. Your ability to manage your emotions is to me mental toughness, because there's some things you can't avoid, and emotions is one of them. But what you can do is, how you respond to those kind of things. I thought I was pretty good at that in high school. Obviously, like, everybody was trying to get in my head. Everybody's talking trash. Maybe I'm not having a good game, and my emotions, I'm pissed, I'm frustrated, but I did a really good job of kind of just like, making the choice after that to just put one foot in front of the other. College, I kind of lost that, and these past few years I've gotten a lot better at that too. So to me, if you can manage your emotions and you can make decisions, rational decisions after emotions, then I think that's mental toughness for me.
For sure. Love that answer. What player out there, because you're 20, there's got to be someone you've met that you were excited to meet, or you're a little starstruck, or whatever the word.
Yeah. I mean, the first time I met LeBron, I'll always remember for sure. I think everybody, like, anyone who has met LeBron will always remember the first time they meet him. This is my rookie, obviously. He was in at like 5:30, and I was in at like 6 a.m. because I was trying to like establish this. I'm coming in early, like, I'm doing all that stuff.
Yeah.
He's in at like 5 o'clock. He's done at like 5:45 as I'm activating in the weight room or whatever. And he's like in a sweat. And I remember I was pretty skinny for at the time. And my strength coach handed me like this big basket of protein. He had some creatine here, so my arms are full. He's walking towards me, and I've never met him before, but I'm about to introduce myself. But I have my hands like completely full. He like stick his hand out. Max, I'm Brown. Nice to meet you. Congrats on being drafted or whatever. And I have to like set everything down and then say what's up. I always remember that was pretty cool. And then my favorite play growing up was Kevin Durant. First time playing against him in person. He was in Brooklyn when we played him in LA for the first time, and it was cool. Like just kind of I guarded him like a few times in the post, and that was a cool moment for me too.
Any players that you played against, or as a kid watching, and then you go in the game and like talking a lot of shit, or no?
No, I don't really talk trash. I didn't talk trash a lot in high school. It's something I also want to kind of try to do a little bit this year. I've gotten into it. I haven't gotten into it.
We want to see it, Max. We want to see it.
Has anyone been someone that like talks a lot of shit to you that you didn't think did, or how is that?
Yeah, John Moran is a big shit talker just for no reason, in my opinion. He just sends his talk. So he's good. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. LeBron will talk a little bit. He doesn't like to talk too much, but he'll let you know.
Yeah.
LeBron, I've talked. That's like uncomfortable for me, talking shit. I've never done it. Yeah. So I was trying to challenge myself this summer. We had like small group workouts, and I always challenge myself. I would always just talk shit to LeBron all summer long. We were talking shit, which was cool. Helped me a lot for sure, and I'm a little bit more comfortable doing it. But yeah, Ja talks a lot. KD talks a lot. KD's he's a big shit talker. Steph, not so much. He's here and there. If you jab at Steph, he'll jab back, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how you were. Like you were initiated.
Yeah. No, I mean, I remember Cam though, because I like to tell the story. I said his freshman year. I tell people it was his freshman year, my sophomore year. I definitely got the best of him that game, and then every game after that, it was downhill for me.
Cam's got a lot of feistiness to him.
Yeah,
sure.
and
I don't. I do, but I don't show it. He's got a lot of shit to him for sure.
Yeah, no, but he's subtle about it too. He's not gonna make it loud, but he'll let you know about it.
Yeah.
That's so funny. Does everybody have? We'll wrap up here in a couple minutes, but does everyone? You said you have a mental coach or mental therapist. I think you said. Yeah. Is that pretty normalized now in the NBA or no? I mean, do a lot of people have it, I guess.
Yeah, well, I know every team in the NBA is required to have someone on staff for that. I don't use the one that we have just, on a comfort level for me, but I think it's pretty common, I think, these days.
I love it.
Yeah, it's important. It is. So I just know that every team is, by the NBA and the Players Association, every team's required to have at least one employee that specializes in that field. So we have the resources for it, for sure. And then I think every NBA player gets a free Calm app subscription too. So they're prioritizing the mental health for sure.
They should. I mean, absolutely. And talking about it, which is why we started this podcast, is the work we're doing with athletes. We're seeing so much like them get better, like you said. Like it actually,
it works.
Right? It works. Yeah. So
it's and the hard part about it is you don't necessarily it's not like something you can measure. And but I will say for sure, over the past 2 or 3 years, I've literally made leaps and bounds and strides better for sure. So
that's cool. Do you have our last question? Do you have a sports mantra that you use? I mean, I feel like people usually have a bunch, but do you have a go-to mantra? You mentioned one earlier. So
my go-to is process over outcome with everything. I used to be super outcome based, expectations and all sorts of stuff, but now I just focus on the process of what's going on. So I don't know, an example of that for me, like if I'm going into a game, an outcome based expectation would be, I want to score 10 points tonight. I want to get 5 rebounds tonight. I want to do whatever. Process on the flip side would be, I want to take 5 shots tonight. I don't care about making or missing. I want to take 5 shots. I want to crash the glass 4 times. I want to do this. I want to do that. I want to make 5 shots. I want to take 5 shots. I don't want to make them. If I make them, great. If I miss them, great. I would just want to take them. And that's the process to me. You know what I'm saying? And eventually to do that over and over, especially with the work that, you know, I put in and everybody else puts in, you'll probably make 3 out of 5, 4 out of 5. Sometimes you make 0 out of 5, sometimes you make 1 out of 5. But if I go into the game saying I want to make 5 shots and maybe I have a bad night, I make 1, then all of a sudden my mind is now I don't want to take 5 shots anymore.
Yeah.
Instead,
Sure.
I go into the game, I just want to take 5 shots. Say I take 7 and maybe I make 4. Like that's pretty good. Maybe I take 5 shots and make 0, but I still took 5. I'm feeling comfortable enough. I know I can take 5. I'm going to do it again. So that's an example of what that means to me. It's just super important.
That's probably the favorite one that I've heard so far.
That's like, for sure.
We've talked to a bunch of athletes. I think that's my favorite one.
Same.
Yeah, it's helped me so much. It's super important. I mean, I literally trust the process / process over outcome. That's my mantra. That's my life quote.
It does translate to like other parts of your life. This whole right,
Yeah,
like work and
sure.
you know, all that stuff. So
Yeah, feel bad. Let them go back watching some NFL football. It's Sunday.
Well, the Bears got to win today.
I know, huge win for the Bears.
all right, I'll let you two enjoy that little victory. I'm a Packer fan, but that's fine. It was a good win for you guys. Well, I look forward to watching you this year. I can't wait. Honestly, always been one of my favorite players.
We'll be rooting for you.
Yeah,
Thank you. Appreciate it. I appreciate that.
Really coming on here. We appreciate it. All the athletes. It's a gift to listen to you and everything you've done. So again, want to thank Max Christie. And if you want tips more like that, check us out at puresportsmindset.com or on our Instagram, Pure Sports Mindset. And again, thanks, Max. Have a great season this year, and hopefully we'll talk to you soon.
Yeah. Thank you, guys.